This is Being Awesome with Rob Springer.
Hey guys, it's Rob, and this is Being Awesome, the podcast about loving Transformers and having fun. This week in Awesome, Grand Galvatron up and happened. Now, let me project and just try to explain Grand Galvatron to you. Of course, we all know about Combiner Wars Galvatronus, the combiner made from using the Cyclonus toy. Now, the Cyclonus toy is what it is. It's a one-off repaint remold intended to just stretch the mold out some. I mean, you got a jet character. He's similar enough to Cyclonus that with some reshelling of parts and recoloring, he made a pretty good Cyclonus. The Galvatronus combiner, that was a bit of a head scratcher, but what else are you going to make from Cyclonus? You know, basically, he's intended, put a couple of parts on, bam, you got a combiner. Excuse me. So, that being said, the Unite Warrior, Takara's version of Combiner Wars, stepped things up a notch, and they made something beautiful. Galvatronus became Grand Galvatron. If that sounds familiar to you, that's because in the Headmasters cartoon, Galvatron aspired to become Grand Galvatron by making himself very giant and powerful. Now, the storyline version here is Unicron is remaking Galvatron out of a bunch of different people. He's gotten guys from different dimensions of various evilness, and, Galvatron's made of them. So you've got Cyclonus, of course, who I think came across some Anglomus energy, he's already part of Galvatron's gang, so it only makes sense that he would be part of this new version of the NWO. And then you get Starscream's ghost, which is very weird, because you'd be like, why would Starscream's ghost want to help out Galvatron? Wouldn't Starscream's ghost rather become a big Starscream? But whatever, it's a really neat looking toy. And here's where it gets weird. You got Prime Breakdown. Breakdown from the Transformers Prime series. Yeah. So apparently after he died, somehow Unicron got a hold of him, I guess. I don't know. It's neat. And then you got Armada Thrust, who was one of Unicron's servants in the Armada cartoon. So that's great. And he looks good. And then the last one, and this is a head scratcher, you got Roller. That's right, Optimus's Roller. It's the IDW version of Roller. And spoiler alert, even though I feel kind of ridiculous saying spoiler alert for a comic story that's almost half a year out, IDW's version of Roller has been missing since the Great War, and no one knows what happened to him. Now, a lot of people have speculated that he became Tarn, and that's just fan theory until something happens. In Takara's little storyline here, Roller basically got blown off into a dimension of solidarity, and it became bad by himself. That's wacky, and that's Takara. They do stuff like that. But it's so out of left blue. Out of left blue, that is not a word. That's not a term. I am crazy. It's just so out of the blue that it's weird, but it's amazing because it looks gorgeous. It looks like a really, really nice set. The Galvatronus made from Cyclonus here is your standard purple. This one has a more almost colored like the Galvatron toy scheme, the gray and blues or whatever from the classic Galvatron toy. In fact, I've heard a few translations describe him as Galvatron 2, which is from the Marvel Comics, which is even cooler. I sputtered. It's so freaking pretty. Like, Silverbolt's gun, that of course came with Cyclonus, is basically a rifle. For this version, they gave it some paint apps, so the barrel's orange, and you can mount it on his arm like you can the gun anyway, like Superion has a gun arm on the cartoon as opposed to holding his gun. Well, now it looks like Galvatron's cannon. It is so rad. But what gets me the most I'm burping off mic. You remember how I mentioned Starscream's ghost? Well, Galvatron's arm is a ghost. How does that work out? Does he punch you and you just kind of go, whoo, that was creepy? What happens there? What is the end game of getting punched with a ghost? You know, maybe 2 weeks ago, over the Thanksgiving break, I watched Annabelle, the newest Conjuring movie, and I can't help but thinking, wouldn't it be really cool? Hold on a second, let me wet my throat. Mountain Dew Code Red. It's delicious. I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if Starscream's ghost was actually like a spooky, scary ghost, pulling all sorts of crazy, scary things, as opposed to just being Starscream with a non-existing body. I would rather him be scary. But that and me. But yeah, oh man, I really want Grand Galvatron. I'm never going to get him, though, because right now, Big Bad Toy Store has the pre-order at about $160. That is 50 cents over. Hell no! Now I've paid more than that for toys, of course. Just that's a big chunk of change for basically the same toy I can get here in slightly different colors. So I'd really like to get it. But I got the feeling I haven't bought Cyclonus yet, period, in Combiner Wars. A lot of toys that I'll want, but I know they're not going anywhere too soon. I'll wait to get them. So if there's a rainy day and I want a new toy, there's one I haven't bought. So Cyclonus is on that list. He will get paired with some extra Combiner Wars guys that will have a home to go to, and that will be my Pillsbury Grand Galvatron. He's like, here I am, making no sense whatsoever. You know, it's funny. The Hasbro version is what it is. It is a one-off recolor just to stretch out the toy line some. It's a one-off thing. It doesn't affect the storyline or nothing. It's just, here's another toy. The Takara one is another weird one-off thing that'll probably never get referenced ever again. But they did a really good job of it, and I really hope it comes back. I want to see Galvatron's Combiner more often. Yeah, that's really awesome. What's neat is, and I was saying this earlier, this is like if BotCon made a set that nailed it. And I'm not saying this to be a dig at BotCon. I'm saying they, for their sets, like to kind of go all over the storylines and multiverse settings of Transformers to pull them together in a box set. This does it perfectly. It makes it all work as one unit. So basically it's that theory done really well. And good on Takara for that. I'm really jealous of whoever gets this, because I know I want one. Now, also in Awesome this week, sputtering out into the slightly off topic I get sometimes with this show, Toho premiered the new trailer and poster for the brand new Godzilla movie, Godzilla Resurgence. For those of you who are not in the know, this is not a follow-up to last summer, 2014's Godzilla movie. This is part of the Toho Godzilla franchise, aka the OG, the original series. I'll go into a little more expose for people who maybe are not as well versed in it. Godzilla comes in series. The original 60s and 70s movies everyone thinks of is the Showa era, named after, of course, the Emperor at the time. That kind of ended when basically it ran its course, and then came back with, we know it here in America as Godzilla 1985. That became the the Heisei era, which, of course, that was the Emperor of Japan at the time. And that ran about to 1995, ending in Godzilla vs. Destroya. Now, a lot of people remember the 1998 American Godzilla movie, and believe it or not, that was the result of many years of development hell dating back to the late 80s. And at one point, the Godzilla costume was created by Stan Winston and looked very faithful and badass. to the original Godzilla form. And at one point, even Toho was advertising this brand new American-made Godzilla movie that they were going to bring to Japan, and it never happened. And so the movie that came out, I think everyone was pretty disappointed with. And basically, so they made Godzilla 2000 as an answer to it and started off the Millennium era, which was Godzilla 2000, which ended in Final Wars. The Millennium era was a very unique series, because while the Heisei era kind of worked in with the Showa area, the Millennium era was like an anthology series. There was only one direct sequel to another movie from that era, from the Millennium series in there. That being the Mega Godzilla film was followed up with Tokyo SOS, the direct sequel to it. Outside of that, they were all separate entities, only basically following up on the original 1954 movie. Final Wars in 2004 was basically going to be the last movie for at least 10 years. Well, of course, the 2014 movie happened because it got licensed out. They made a satisfactory Godzilla movie, and it was a big success. Toho was already planning to bring back Godzilla, so they have kickstarted their own Godzilla series. No one knows what the era is called yet. A lot of people have been saying it's the Legacy era, which I like that name, but it's too early in the era to know what the name will be. Now, what's funny is there's a Godzilla 2, the American movie sequel, coming out in a few years, as well as a third one where he will be fighting King Kong. The new King Kong movie, Skull Island, I think comes out in 2017, 16, somewhere around there. So it's a good time for kaiju fans. But what is so cool that we got an American Godzilla series and a Japanese Godzilla series. But talking back to the Godzilla Resurgent trailer, it's great. They're going for more of a horror-themed, and people look at me when I say horror-themed in Godzilla. The original Gojira was a scary movie, and this one is more in vein with it. Of course, the trailer just shows very horrifying scenes of people running in terror with text and kanji that I can't read, and the poster is a kind of blackened-out picture of this movie's Godzilla. You can get a good look at him, though, and he is gnarly looking. He looks like a cross between the original 1954, more primal, more bestial Godzilla, and the GMK from, I think that movie came out in 02, 03? Somewhere around there. If I'm speaking crazy to people who don't know any better, GMK was a movie of the Millennium series called Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Out Monsters Attack. I might have messed up the All Out Monsters Attack part. Basically, the name of the movie is a sentence, and for short is GMK. And in that movie, Godzilla is the bad guy, and is possessed by the souls of all those who died in the Hiroshima bombing. So he's very, very evil looking, which is great. He almost looks like a Deadite version of Godzilla. So a lot of people, and myself included, have said this new for Resurgence Godzilla looks like a cross between GMK and the original. And I stand by that, but I'm thinking he almost looks more like just a super beefed up looking version of the 54 design. He has these little eyes and this big gnarly mouth of teeth that the jaw goes way back and the teeth just keep going, and I can just see Godzilla roaring and just roar, and his mouth opening super ginormous wide with all these scary teeth, and it is awesome, and I can't wait to see it. Being that it is a Japanese feature, I do not know how it will be imported to America. Be it a DVD with subtitles, which I'd be fine with. In fact, that's most of my Godzilla movie viewing. Or if it will make a limited run in American theaters. Either way, I'm down. So I'm really looking forward to it. Now, let's shoot on over to the Question and Awesome portion. The Question and Awesome portion of Being Awesome, the podcast about loving Transformers and having fun, the thread is exclusive to the Talk Transformers Facebook group. The Talk Transformers Facebook group is the official forums of being awesome. What is Talk Transformers? Well, I talk about it every darn week. I tried not to say damn because that's unpleasant. Snark. Now, you can go on Facebook. You're already on it. You know you're a member. Even if you tell people you don't use Facebook, we all know you got a Facebook account. You keep private for just a few people or to snoop on people. Look in groups, search Talk Transformers, and join. Just request to join. We'll let you in. It's a free form. Everyone have fun and enjoy your hobby. Transformers community. And it keeps getting bigger because people keep saying, holy crap, Rob's right. It's better. And if I'm wrong, no one's told me so yet. And people love to tell you you're wrong on the internet. So obviously I'm on to something. Well, I start a thread every so often there for, hey guys, you guys got any questions for being awesome? Or do you got any talking points you'd like me to talk with you? Anything. And this week's question comes from that thread. Our question comes from, I am opening up the file on my phone as we talk, from my good friend James Gautier. Or Gautier. I can't say your last name right, and he's a good friend, so I feel like a jerk. James goes on to ask, was there ever a TF mold that you saw and said, no, that is not his name? For example, Armada Sideswipe. I saw that and was, what the hell, only to look down the rack and see Armada Wheeljack, who should have been Sideswipe. Yeah. Wheeljack should have been Sideswipe in Armada. That mold looked identical to Sideswipe. And even considering the character was an Autobot turned Decepticon, the name would have fit. Which is funny because the 2008 BotCon Shattered Glass set featured Sideswipe made from that mold. Because it was perfect. That, of course, everyone knows. Especially when you see Energon Downshift a year later, who was Wheeljack, named Downshift. And of course, the reasoning he didn't get named at is because someone in marketing was like, we already got a toy named Wheeljack on the shelves. That's not him. Okay. You know, sometimes I always say, don't call this person on the news stupid. Don't call this celebrity stupid. You know why? Because they got like millions of dollars. And I'm like a thousandaire. They're doing something that I'm not, so obviously I can't call them stupid. They're a little smarter than me. However, whoever's decision that was, I think fell into a job because that was stupid. That was a stupid decision. But going on to your question, James, it's funny that you asked that because just this past weekend, I went to my local Toys R Us, and the past couple of weeks I had been passing on the Megatronus figure from the new Robots in Disguise line, and so I finally jumped and bought them. I bought the Clash of the Transformers Galvatronus. I was holding out for the retail version because he has a different head and different paint deco, but I couldn't do it no more, so I guess when the standard retail version comes out, I'll just have two. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. Now, I've been saying this ever since we first saw Galvatronus. Now, let me go back some here. Galvatronus is the Fallen. Whenever the Fallen's name is I keep saying Galvatronus, Megatronus. Megatronus's name, the Fallen is Megatronus. And storyline, that is where Megatron got his name from the Fallen. Now, seeing his design, seeing everything, I can't help to say, I wish he was Gigatron. Gigatron, the original Robots in Disguise line from 2001 to about 2002 was based on a cartoon called Car Robots. And the character that we had named Megatron was a character named Gigatron. And Gigatron was the leader of the Decepticons and what have you. And, of course, he had a million different modes, and he's only kind of similar looking. Not very. He almost looks like, I was just talking about Godzilla. He almost looks like Destroya because the way the bat wings are on his head. Now, Megatronus, look, they wanted to have a Megatron character on the show and in the toy line, but they didn't want to straight up. They wanted to do something different. So to use the Megatronus name, because that's literally just copyright equity just sitting there to use. Everyone knows the Fallen. Megatronus only the nerds know. So to use that name, there's a Megatron in the show. He's a magical Megatron. He's not the same Megatron. Blah, blah, blah. He's got this helmet that folds over his face like a face mask with these kind of wings up that almost look like bat wings. And he's got this posturing and all that. Now, here's the funny thing. He turns into a tank, or what they tell me is a tank. He's kind of similar enough to, in my estimation, looking at him, in his colors, in his shape, in his overall silhouette, he could have been easily Overlord, excuse me. Blame Hasbro on that one. Hasbro and Takara, let's not leave them out, because they named a character within the same amount of time Overlord and another one named Overload, and that's confusing. I look at this character and I said, that could be Overlord. However, I know they're not going to use Overlord so willingly, especially since Hasbro doesn't have the trademark. And when they have released Overlord in America, he's been called Gigatron. So therefore, this toy that kind of has a kind of evil Emperor Destruction type thing going like Gigatron had in Car Robots turns into a big bruising tank, and he's a big old burly guy like Overlord, and Overlord is known as Gigatron here, so he would have fit that name in both ways to me. I think Megatronus, not Galvatronus, Megatronus should have been Gigatron. Also, I'm just looking at my desk. I have tons of toys here, sitting here. This one-step changer of Sideswipe from the Red line. It's the recolor where he's gray and red. He should have been Wars. Wars was a spy changer from Car Robots and Robots in Disguise, the original series. That was a little red car with kanji on him, much like Sideswipe. Well, he had a million repaints, and one of them was a Japanese special line. I forget exactly what was the naming of this recolor set. They were in blind boxes. Wars was gray with kanji on him. This Sideswipe is gray with kanji on him. I know they wanted to keep the Sideswipe name because he's one of the stars of the show. Would have made a good Wars. But that's not all. I'm just looking around behind me on that bookshelf. I have a lot of boxes I need to put away, and I should put some toys on those bookshelves, or heavens, maybe some books. But looking back there, there's Battlecore Optimus Prime back there. And a lot of people saying, hey, how come he wasn't Ultra Magnus? And I'm like, well, that's because they had a better Ultra Magnus toy coming. That is a white Optimus Prime with a brand new head that looks like Star Saber. So much that I can't help but to wonder why wasn't he not Star Saber? Oh my God, guys, I just goofed. I meant Star Convoy. I am so out of it. I've said Galvatronus earlier, talking about Megatronus, and I said Star Saber, talking about Star Convoy. My mistake. The white Optimus repaint, whose head looks like Star Convoy's head. Why wasn't he just Star Convoy? I know he's white, Star Convoy's red, and in fact, I would not be too surprised to see a red version of that toy with that head mold pop out at some toy show exclusive as Star Convoy. And being that you can combine anyone with anything in Combiner Wars, it'd have been great to see some of those members there. I'm getting a little loopy. Like usually, I'm doing this before I go to bed, and it's starting to seep in that I have been up for close to 24 hours. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 2:30 yesterday. I should get some sleep. But James, off the top of my head, right there is a couple of guys I think should have been somebody else. Others, I think, you just said Armada. You talked about Armada Sideswipe and Armada Wheeljack. Armada Sideswipe should have been Boss. Boss being the Turbo Master from the European late G1 line, when G1 was running into G2 over there and hadn't been changed in name yet. He was a Turbo Master, I believe. Yes, he was a Turbo Master. He should have been Boss because he looked a lot like Boss to me. Also, let's see. Let me get another drink of my Code Red. I got one of these tall cans they sell at the gas station for $1 of Code Red to drink. And it's got basketball player faces on the can, but it's all kind of drawn weird. It's kind of scary as hell. I don't know. I only know it's a basketball player because there's a basketball on there and some guy's name at the bottom by an NBA thing. It kind of reminds me, you know those cheap hand puppets you used to get at the gas station? They fit over your, like, index and birdie finger and thumb, and you kind of move your mouth, and they're real ugly looking. That's what that face looks like. It is scary as hell, and I wish it wasn't on my Code Red can. Let's see, who else? Talking about who these guys should have been. The red repaint of Hotshot in Armada. A lot of people said he looked just like Hot Rod, and he sure darn did. But transformed into robot, I thought he was the spitting image of Blaster. In fact, I was like, why wasn't this toy just released as Blaster? In fact, Blaster would have been a much cooler name than Hotshot. Well, at least I think so. That's what I think. And there's a bunch of other ones that any time I could tell you other than right now because I'm kind of put on the spot thinking about thousands of characters. Okay, my mind's blank now, just trying to think about them all, because I can't tell you how many times you pick up one, you go, oh, he should have been this guy instead. Or how many times have toys been repurposed in fiction to be a different guy because they're like, that's who it looks like. I mean, Overrun from Cybertron. Is it Overrun? Yeah, the leader of the Speed Planet, the white female character, the white car, looks a lot like Hurricane. Looks so much like Hurricane that they should have just named her Hurricane. She still could have been a female character named Hurricane. In fact, there's a her in the name. Hurricane. Bam. Hasbro, why don't I work for you? Thousands of people in the fandom always say every day, well, I should work at Hasbro, so I am not a unique person, I guess. Well, James, I hope that answered your question. Those are a few examples off the top of my head. And I'm going to be later looking at a toy thing and, oh, I should have. Hey, Night Ops Bumblebee from the Rid line should be Night Racer. It would make a good Night Racer. There's another one. It happens all the time. James is my dude. And guys, you got any questions, talking point, join Talk Transformers. When I posted that thread up, comment, leave me questions, leave me talking points. If you got something you just can't wait till that thread comes up, ask me there. I will work it into the show when its time comes. Well, guys, that was Being Awesome. Being Awesome is part of the Radio Free Cybertron family of shows. You can find us at tfradio.net for all of our shows and showtimes. And while you're at tfradio.net, hey, there's some cool Amazon links you can go through to do all your Amazon shopping. Because you know you're buying from Amazon anyway. But if you go through those links, you won't pay anything extra, and you help support the site and keep these things going. Like Radio Free Cybertron and Being Awesome and the Minicast and all of our other wonderful shows. That's such an easy way to support us, and we really appreciate it if you could do that. I'm Rob. You can find me at RoboRob Springer on any social media. The best place to look for me is Twitter and Instagram. I know I've been saying Tumblr forever. I am taking not a Tumblr break per se, but I've been saying for a while I've been kind of wanting just kind of a change in blogging format. And then I decided, hey, all I do is take pictures and post a little smart-ass quip with the picture. So I found my long dormant Instagram account, and everything I post to it goes to my Twitter and goes to my Tumblr. So if you follow my Tumblr, you're seeing my Instagram. In case a little bit later I might feel like using Tumblr again, it's right there. But in the meantime, people who follow me there, I'm still posting. I just said a whole lot of words. I hope the whole lot of words I said actually meant something, because I am running on fumes and caffeine, which isn't healthy. It is not healthy. So enjoy me while you got me. But while you got me, thanks for listening. I really appreciate you guys listening. Being Awesome, the video version goes up on YouTube and Facebook every week. And the audio version, which more of you listen to, is on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. You can download it off the site. Any way you can get a podcast, it's on. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for watching. And hey guys, I'll see you next time. And until next time, I still don't know how to end this. Jamata. Bye.
This has been Being Awesome with Rob Springer.